All right. Welcome to the 21 Minutes or Less podcast. Today we are talking about God, correct?
Yes.
Period.
Hey y'all.
Hey, we on Zoom, we're trying something different. So y'all can still see our pretty faces, even though we're not all together. First I just want to do a check-in with y'all. How are y'all doing? I know you finna have a baby and you finna be done with grad school. So
I'm good so far. Like I was telling you earlier, the baby is almost here. I've been feeling contractions and stuff, so now it's just a matter of waiting for the baby to come. I've been freaking doing ball exercises and all types of stuff. So we trying to work her down so she could come out within these next few weeks. That sounds exciting. Well, for me, I actually been chilling. I've just been trying to rest, use this time to restore myself. So that's what I've been doing.
And I seen on your Instagram, Nakia, you said you had somebody courting you. So how's that going?
Yeah, okay, so it's going pretty well. We went out again yesterday.
Okay.
This time he bought me like a little card and a gift card, so it was cute.
Hmm. Okay. Well, I'm glad y'all are doing good. I'm doing okay. Trying to finish getting certified for life coaching, and my graduation just got pushed back from July to December. So I'm just trying to.
Don't feel bad, girl.
Oh yeah, I'm not. I'm just trying to navigate finding a new internship spot and stuff. So I know I definitely been leaning on God. And I'm super glad that we finally decided to talk about spirituality. Um, so for me, spirituality is definitely something that was instilled in me from a young age. I was raised in like a Baptist church. It was like a really small black Baptist church. So like I literally seen the progression from like being in the pastor and first lady's basement to like when they got their own charisma smiling. So when they got their own like church and stuff, it was like a church on 67th and Cottage Grove in Chicago. And it was actually my uncle and auntie's church. And yeah, some things kind of happened in our family. And then I stopped going to that church and I joined like a much bigger church. Um, and then eventually I stopped going to church, honestly, once I got to college. And then I got baptized like my senior year of college, right before I graduated. So that's when I like started back really getting into the Bible and Christianity. But I'm not into like religion per se. I'm really into God. Like I think religion can put a lot of pressure on the relationship that you have with God, and it becomes more about impressing other people or the church versus establishing a healthy relationship with God. So that's something I've been doing. Um, oh, I can show y'all my prayer journal. See, that's why I like being at home. But I have a prayer journal. That's something I use a lot to talk to God. Um, it's like really old and stuff, but something like this helps me because I feel more connected to him because I can see what I'm saying and I can actually see like when he's come and moved in my life and I go back and highlight stuff where he's answered prayers. So I think journaling and having a way to actually see the relationship is good for me. So what about y'all?
I definitely agree. Like, here's my prayer journal.
Hey.
Yes, and I write in it a lot. So on the front of it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not harm you, plans to give you hope in a future." Jeremiah 29:11. So this is my prayer journal. I actually got this book from Ross. It was like $3. And when I saw it, I was like, okay, it was calling my name. I was like, let me grab this. And I grabbed it emotional. And it's the same color as well. So yeah. And I definitely agree with the religion. I am more, I would say, spiritual than religious for the same reasons that you stated earlier. I feel like I have a personal connection with God,
Mhm.
and I feel like church is you. versus church being a building. Not saying you can't have be in the presence of God when you go to church or listen to a pastor or anything like that. But I think church is wherever you are. That's just how I feel. What are some other beliefs that I have? I honestly believe that it's more important for you to have a connection with God versus being in a religion, so to say. Because people are in a religion only because their parents, that's how they grew up, or only because that's what society tells them they have to do. It's not like a choice that they made on their own. I hear a lot of people who, believe in God say, like they fell off at one point, but then as they got older, they had to, reconnect and rebuild their relationship with God. And I can say that's my testimony as well, because I kind of fell off, but I definitely reestablished my relationship, and I'm continuing to do that now.
Definitely. And I feel like one thing that people don't really talk about as much is that falling off with God, or, not being as close as you might have once been or want to be. And I think that's the big part of the journey of getting close to God and building that relationship, and like actually knowing and believing that God is real for you, not because your parents did so or anyone else in the world says so. So I think that, not necessarily saying you want to fall off with God, but it definitely brings you closer. So I think it's value in that.
What about you, Charisma? I also have a prayer journal, which I'm gonna show y'all since Key showed her.
Period.
I got mine from Girl Plus God. I don't know if y'all ever heard of that. If I follow them on Instagram. Yeah, so it has like a whole calendar. It has write down things you're thankful for and things of that nature. And I really feel like since I've been using this, I really been like praying more, getting closer with God, and I feel like she said, that just helps me to see like how and what ways God is breaking in my life. And after me writing the stuff down and just seeing it manifesting and stuff is pretty cool. Like, because it's one thing to like think about it or just say it out loud and pray it or pray that night in your head or whatever. Then to write it down and actually see the stuff that you wrote down like last month, manifest. So it's pretty cool. I wish I would have had a prayer journal. And yeah, I just feel like my relationship with God is getting much stronger. I always had a relationship with God. I always been in like church and stuff, but it was like my mom's relationship with God, because I was, we had to go to church. It wasn't she going to church and you got to sleep in. No, like if she was going to church, we always going to church. Same thing if I was at my grandma's house, at my uncle's house, whoever. So now I feel like during college and stuff, I was okay with prayer. I always knew God and knew to pray, but it wasn't really that much a relationship. But now since I've been older, have my own kids and stuff, teaching her how to pray and just building my own relationship with God instead of just having what I knew from what my mom taught me or other people taught me.
So when you're teaching, Lonnie how to pray, or just children in general, like how do you go about that? Because that is kind of almost like an abstract kind of conversation to have, where it's like, okay, I can't see this person, and then it's also different ways to pray too. So like, I know you use a prayer journal. She probably not writing everything yet, but is that something you want to introduce to her, or are you showing her more of the traditional format of praying?
Right now, since she can't write, of course, it's just the traditional, when she wake up, just thank God that you have another day. And she's to the point. At first, it was just her listening to us, me and her dad, praying and stuff. And now it gets to the point of she would like say, it was like literally one day she just said, can we say Father God? And I'm like, what do you mean? And she was like, can we say Father God? So I'm like, what, you want to pray? And she was like, yeah. And so I said, okay, go ahead. And she was like, Father God, something about some cookies and some chips and some other stuff. And I was like, okay, if that's how you want to pray, if that's what you're thankful for, if you're thankful for your cookies and stuff, then that's cool. Like, it's whatever she want to pray about. I don't want to force, oh, no, that don't be thanking God for that stuff. Whatever she want to pray about, she go ahead and pray as long as she acknowledging. And then I know she'll have some more questions once she gets older as far as who is God and all that type of stuff. But she hasn't asked that yet. So until then, she likes to stay at herself now. So she pretty much just does it on her own now, and she likes doing it. I like the fact that you said that's what you want to be thankful for, and then let her be thankful, because that's what I pray. Church doesn't mean anything. Not to say that you don't need a church at all. I mean, yeah, go sometimes, but I don't feel like that determines my relationship with God at all. But definitely online church and what else? Just worship music and stuff. Just making sure I take out if I'm feeling like too crazy or something, or just too overwhelmed. Even when I'm not, but I know when I definitely need it, I turn on that music and just be like, okay, sis, you need to sit down for a second. Go ahead and listen to some worship music and, really get your mind back on the whole focus of your life, which is whatever God's purpose is.
So how do y'all feel about like exploring other religions? Did y'all explore or did y'all just like go to God? Because I know with me, it is some other religions just that I've learned about or just, gotten tidbits from. And I'm like, well, I like this too. Not to say that I believe in that fully and wholly, but I do think it's different aspects of other religions. Like, for instance, Buddhism. It's a lot of Gandhi like principles that I do agree with, just about being peaceful, things like that. So have y'all dibbled and dabbled, or did y'all just, you know, kind of follow the road you were brought up with, but then choose your own relationship with God?
I definitely dibbled and dabbled. And it was only because just growing up, my friends would always invite me to church. So whether that was Methodist, Baptist, going to church with Jehovah's Witnesses, Nation of Islam, I didn't pretty much been to quite a few different churches, but at the end of the day, all of them have some of the core same beliefs and values. So I think if we just focus on the things that are in common versus like what's different or separate, it won't be so much of a divide and conquer when it comes to religion. And that's the one reason why I don't really like subscribe to religion, because of that. Well, your core values and morals are positive and things like that, then to each his own. Yeah, I feel the same way. Like I never actually I've been to like a Catholic church one time, and that was pretty much it that I have experienced. That wasn't like something I grew up in. But other than that, no, I have not. I never really had an interest in other religions or anything like that, because the same thing, I'm not really into religion. Like, I don't care about all that. Like you said, as long as you're a good person, I feel like my duty is to, live by what I believe in. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. If you don't, that's not my place to, condemn you or anything. But I will, still, I'm not going to change what I believe or what I want to say. Like, if you're uncomfortable around me, if I do mention God or if I do mention Jesus, that's just between you and yourself. That doesn't have nothing to do with me, because I'm not gonna, kind of put my stuff on the back burner because you believe in something else or something like that. So I don't think I never really dabbled in too much difference, but I don't mind if being around people that don't believe in God or don't believe in Jesus. But one thing you're not gonna do, you're not gonna sit up and be like, oh, saying all that mess. We could be cool, but don't start all that mess with that. There's no God, there's no Jesus. Like, don't. Just you do you, and let me be me, and we could be cool, and that's just it.
So
what
this
about you?
is me. Let me think. I definitely have explored the principles of other like major religions, of course, like Buddhism, Taoism, things of that nature, but I've never like fully engulfed myself into another religion or anything like that. I feel like one, I haven't really been nowhere where that's like popping. No other religions like in America is pretty much Christian. It's just, are you a Muslim? Are you regular Christian? Are you Catholic? Versus if I lived in Japan or China for 3 months or something, then maybe I'll be open to actually going to a Buddhist temple and seeing how do they worship and things like that. So as of now, I haven't dabbled into practicing any other religions, but I've definitely dabbled into researching other religions.
Right. Well, I haven't necessarily practiced any other religion. I just went to different churches before.
Okay.
Like, twice. So me saying I dabbled in it doesn't mean I was like practicing it.
Gotcha.
I'm just invited. And I was like, you know what, why not? Because it's going to be a teachable or learning experience, right? To understand, like you said, what they, how are they similar in a sense. So how important is your spiritual life when it comes to like relationships and I guess deciding on who your life partner is going to be?
I feel like it's extremely important. I feel like religion is something not even religion, like spirituality is just something that's a part of you. So it's like if a part of me that's just in me isn't agreeing with a part of you that's in you, it's not gonna work. Like I remember in college, I was talking to this dude and we were supposed to get baptized together, and then he didn't like something, and I was like, what's your main focus right now? Is it religion? Is it, getting closer to God? And he was like, no. And so I started talking to him, and it was just like we're not on the same page, so no, this not gonna work.
What about you, person? Especially since you're married. Yeah, so that's very important to me. I always have, even as a little girl, that was important to me. Like as a teenager, dating and stuff. I knew I never wanted to be with anybody that didn't believe in God. Or like didn't. I mean, you didn't have to be like this Jesus person, but I definitely was like, yeah, he has to have some knowledge of God and stuff. And I met my husband at church, so I already knew that was obviously easy to know if he, because nowadays when you're dating, you don't know until y'all actually talk about it. Easy for me to know because he was in church, which a lot of people have a lot to say about that too, about church guys, but he was young then. So yeah, that's the top priority for me, even if I was dating. You have to have some type of knowledge, some type of prayer life, some type of relationship with God, because I can't picture myself with anybody that just doesn't have a relationship at all.
We're gonna wrap up this episode. Do anybody have any last minute comments about religion?
Well, I do. Some resources that I use, as far as like podcasts, I listen to Blessed and Bossed Up, and I listen to Therapy as a Christian. Those are two podcasts that I listen to. So if y'all ever need anything else to listen to, those are two.
Well, thank you for sharing that. So just make sure y'all go follow us on social media at 21 Minutes or Less Podcast. Type 21 Minutes or Less Podcast on YouTube to check out our YouTube videos. This one is going to be up there when it loads. And follow our personal pages. Mine is Keisha Milana.
Mine is Riz Monet. And mine is Miss Butterfly 21.
Well, all right, y'all. We will see y'all on the next episode.
All right, bye.